frenzy in monsters, rampage and hope dashes, charging and charging with sharp teeth and gnashes, hiding in shadows, suddenly it does spring. These are a few of my favorite monsters. When Ursula bites, when Amatsu sings, Dodo is so rad. I simply remember my favorite monsters, and yes, I know I can't sing. I'm sorry. Oh yes, fellow hunters, welcome. I am going to name my 5 favorite monsters across the entire storied history of this great series of games. Look, this was tough. I adore so many of these beautiful creatures, and committing to just 5, probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And yeah, I've not had a very exciting life. Now, I have broached this subject before, but I am not really sure what I was thinking. Past me is a ding-dong. Current me, however, ooh.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Get on with it!
Alright, fine. Because there must be order, I have gone about this in a, well, structured approach, kind of evaluating every monster across 4 categories. First time experience. Here, the champions for me are Kulftaroth and Atalkar, the Golden Queens. You never quite forget the first mech rising. You never quite forget the first golden wall melting into a river of glorious luster. They resonate with me from when I first saw them, well, still to now, and while Kul's obviously not been quite as long, the feeling is strong. But first-time experience doesn't tell the whole story, so we also have farmability. Does the monster keep being fun? For me, the champion of that is Nergigante. It is as satisfying the first hunt as in the 200th to break those spikes and see him sprawl as you go to town on his squishy bits. He is just a glorious monster to speedrun, and a glorious monster in general, and I love murdering him. But then, you know, you've also got the equipment the monster makes. That's important, right? How you feel about that. And for me, Odogaron, for reasons.
Oh, you touch my tra-la-la.
And then finally, because I love it ever so much, the lore and biology of the creature, and Gormagala stands king in that field for me. The frenzy virus was fascinating as it was terrifying, seeing its devastating effects on the ecosystem permeating throughout the game, how it interacts and changes monsters, culminating in a climactic battle with the
Lord of Darkness.
It did it for me. So with that in mind, and yes, they were my honourable mentions, let's begin here with number 5. It's a real hoot! It's Malfestio. Firstly, I admit to a little bit of bias, because I really fucking love owls. And don't judge me, okay? I respect any creature that is a perfectly honed hunter capable of flying silently whilst hearing a beetle rustling in grass from 100 feet away. Go fuck yourself, eagles! What? Except golden eagles. Golden eagles are great. And because of that, Malfestio got an instant boost in my eyes, but I don't think it really needed it. On a pure aesthetic level, I think he might be one of the most beautiful monsters in the game. Spreading his wings, the beautiful blue, an extra pair of eyes glaring at you in the night, his piercing red visage, the jester aesthetic, giving him a style all unto himself, as well as fitting in beautifully with his combat style, a jester owl with a jester's bag of tricks. We also then have the fact that he is just a, well, straight up bird, so by physical form alone, totally unique. He's a mischievous so-and-so. He likes to mess with passers-by traveling through his territory, not straight up killing them, but more a kind of You think forward is back now? Oh, what my like. And look, I admit fully, I hated the confusion debuff, so much so that it made me neglect everything else that's glorious about Malfestio, and only recently getting back into Gen Ult have I completely just fallen for him. He is bursting with personality, and there's nothing really like him, nor is anything similar in how it fights. The sleep beam is just wonderful. The fact that he breaks down his scales or feathers, disintegrates them from his body, and then uses his wings to scatter the particles in deadly, beautiful stardust. And not to mention his deviant, the Night Cloak, able to go full-on invisible.
Quiet, quiet.
Which is just a fantastic way to add yet another trick to this walking status with wings. Not to mention the colour scheme now with the extra red. Oh, I'm all about that. I guess to put it in a TLDR, if I could have one monster as a miniature, as a pet, it would be a Malfestio. Have him on my shoulders as I go about me daily duties, and become the first owl pirate, and achieve my childhood dream. Coming in at number 4 then, is Chameleos. I bet you didn't see this coming. Because he can go invisible.
Stop it!
Chameleos then has actually technically been life-changing to me. And that sounds super hyperbolic out the gate, but truly, he started my love, or at least stoked the fire, of reptiles, of specifically lizards. Seeing his quirky, erratic self darting around the place, whippy tongue lashing out, stealing items, the little shit, as his chameleonic eyes rotate round, ever present for threats at all angles. He was just superb to me. I loved this purple bastard absolutely to death. When he got introduced to Monster 2, he was unlike anything. He could go freaking invisible. And how do you kill something that is invincible? It doesn't make any sense, but you still could. He was, and honestly still is, one of the most unique monsters in the entire game. An Elder Dragon, sure, but totally of his own breed, compared to the likes of Teo and Kasheladora, of which he is part of a triumvirate, who were kinda, you could see, sort of similarities between in their general modus operandi. Whereas Chameleos, he does his own thing, man. He hangs around the place, waiting, being a jump scare champion. Poison billowing everywhere. His mount is one of the most irritating in just the entire Monster Hunter. It's just, I'm calm, no I'm not, I'm calm, no I'm not, I'm calm, no I'm not, and you're like, I don't know whether to hold on or not. Definitely the one that took me probably the longest to get down. The leaf-shaped tail to aid in camouflage on a monster that can go invisible. I mean, you know, play to your strengths, I guess. His purple, weirdly textured skin really struck a chord. All his little item and part descriptions are kind of curious too, and essentially this just amazing, fun chameleon elder dragon that managed to both be simultaneously, oh look, it's a Chameleos! Oh no! Oh no, look at the silly thing. What are we gonna do? And I'm gonna die! Oh my god, what the? Give that back! That was my last potion! Somehow that blend is permanently there, especially the first time. It becomes more of the former as you go on and realize he is one of the easiest Elder Dragons, but he remains always fun. Don't like his armor, but everything else about him just is glorious. And to loop back then to how I started this, he changed my life in a way because he inspired my love for reptiles and led me to eventually owning bloody 5 of them. Roll call! Oh, Sylvie, don't stand on your sister every time. And while I'm sure I more than likely would have ended up with this collection regardless, he definitely was a contributing factor in making that love for them blossom within me. So thanks, Chameleos. Next up, then, is RageGang. I mean, what can I say apart from... I feel like this is one monster that needs no justification. I think all of us have, well, fond memories of becoming RageGang's bitch, and I don't think any of us have quite got over the psychological trauma of becoming RageGang's bitch. But we are all RageGang's bitch. You might think that, no, I've gotten good at fighting RageGang. I could take him... No, you're still RageGang's bitch. Everyone, literally everything and everyone is RageGang's bitch. It is a universal constant, more sure than death or taxes. And the thing is, RageGang is a simple creature. He's just a brown... Minotaur monkey, and he punches things really hard, and he is obviously the Super Saiyan monkey based off Goku, so that mantra kinda makes sense.
If you say hit him really hard, I swear to God, I will kick you in the dick!
RageGang then is the strongest monster, bar a few Elder Dragons, and I mean that in the literal physical strength sense. He, with one hand, can plunge his fist into the rock below him, grip with enough force to rip out a boulder 4 times the size of himself, and then casually with one arm play the world's most dangerous game of catch with you. That is terrifying physical prowess. A punch from this muscle-bound monkey, well, the place his target was stood now just kind of has a red smear on it. The dude goes fucking Super Saiyan. The golden hair sprouting up just has an aura of, well, I'm right fucked, aren't I? But past that, he is fast, he is agile, arguably in the top 3 of all monsters in these categories, as evidenced by him hunting Kirin. Kirin, who can appear to teleport from how fast it moves. And the RageGang catches the Kirin physically, the lightning powers he has. Yeah, he has lightning powers, because why not? Isn't going to harm a Kirin immune to them. He has to get his thick little fingers round that pony's throat and crack. So that speaks for itself right there. Now, he is rather squishy for something packing the wallop he does, but even then, while enraged with the gold on show, his muscles and skin harden and repel all but the sharpest of blades. Never mind furious RageGang, who is permanently Super Saiyan. Oh, God forbid. Hyper RageGang. It never gets better fighting a RageGang. So not only is he the epitome of...
Oh my God, he's so goddamn cool!
He is one of the few monsters that translates his reputation lore-wise into gameplay. I think it's a very reasonable thing to say that if you had to choose one monster that you think has caused more carts than any other, or at the very least more frustration and pain than any other, it would be RageGang. And that's something he always maintains, and that's what makes him so special to me. He is never not an intense, heart-pounding experience. Less so as time goes on, like with everything. Farming hundreds upon hundreds of dual level 140 Apex RageGang does help, but unlike literally every other monster, which at this stage is, alright, business as usual, let's farm this bitch, RageGang maintains this status of, I'm still gonna die. I'm still a legit bit scared here, guys. Honestly, oh no. And that is kinda cool. So, yeah, there's really not a lot else to say. He is, as I said, quite simple. His armor is lovely, it is filled with personalities, so that's always a good thing. But ultimately, he's just badassery made flesh. And before this happens in the comments, I'm just going to say it now. He is an order of magnitude more powerful than Devil Joe. Could a Devil Joe kill a Rajang? Yes. Could it win a fight with Rajang? No. Thank you. In at number 2 then, bow down, for it is your Gog. The giant halberd dragon himself. Firstly, he is the largest creature capable of flight in the entirety of Monster Hunter. The shadow he casts while airborne makes entire villages believe night has fallen in an instant. Though, given the amount of effort it takes to rest his bulk skywards, he's not often up there, preferring a more terrestrial lifestyle, spending an age in hibernation before rising to feast on his meal of choice, sulfur. And his favourite way of acquiring this healthy diet is by raiding human fortresses and gorging on the gunpowder stores, which, as you can imagine, doesn't leave the place in a great state, hence why we've come to blows. But the thing is, for all his size, for his intimidating look, he is kind of just going about his day. He is not so much this malicious force of Elder Dragon nature, but a big ass animal who's hungry. And that's why it's really sad having to slay one of the rarest monsters just full stop. So little is known about it. But what I do love is, to me, it's the epitome of the large monster fight. He is as big as you can get while still feeling like he is fighting you, the hunters, and everything about his encounter is just intense. He has a Dragonator lodged in his back that you can break free, which will call it to spring out and damage him. How neat of a little moment is that? But chiefly then, well, he can put you in quite a sticky situation. So gunpowder contains a lot of non-sulfur, and these impurities he filters out and excretes through his skin as a highly volatilely explosive, flammable, tarry, oily coat that is perpetually dripping off him. Which means just being near him, well, I hope you bought your umbrella, because it is raining giant globules of tar. And the thing is, when he gets a little bit angry, his internal temperature rises, and suddenly it's not just innocent black goo upon the floor. No, it very much turns explosive and starts to pop with thunderous force, leading to, I'd say, arguably my favourite attack in the game, his tar beam. It is legendary in its strength. He flies up high and just racks the battlefield with lines of pure disintegrating death. And it is a sight to behold. Equal parts terrifying and glorious. And really, circling back to my outlined categories here, he does just dominate them. His armor is lovely. He stays an intense, engaging fight long after he should have any right to. The initial go at him is just awe-inspiring. And I find his whole reason for attacking, his tar, his systems internally, simply fascinating. By Gog, I love this dragon. But there is but a creature I love even more, and you probably know what it is. Number 1, slime mold. And I guess the monster attached to it is also pretty cool. No, Brachydios, my heart and soul. I love him. Every part of him, from his toes to the tip of his horn. If I'm honest then, my favourite thing about Brachydios is, well, the creature itself. It undoubtedly, at least to me, but it's my list, so shut the fuck up, has the most... I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I appreciate that you got to this point in my video, and I respect that you want to hear what I have to say. So, you know, I take that back, okay? You're a lovely person. He has the most potent natural weaponry that by its very nature also doubles up as the most potent natural defense of really any monster save mystical elder dragons that summon death out of fucking nowhere. And that is quite the title to hold, and let me explain why, right? So he is covered in the slime mold. He has a symbiotic relationship. The slime mold itself in its natural state grows and grows and grows rapidly before reaching critical mass and then pop! Explodes its spores into the atmosphere to spread throughout the volcanic regions it calls home. Brachydios one day went, you know, I have 2 arms that are essentially stone pillars of obsidian, and I hit things really fucking hard with them, but I feel like I could be doing more. So, by the way, he already is stupidly strong. Like, he's almost Rajang levels of full-on punching force. And also, he has tiny little fold-out useless arms inside the pounders, if you look, which is just the cutest thing. But yeah, he is really gonna leave a mark already. But that's not enough. No, he saw the slime one day and went, I'ma use that. I'ma just put that. Is that wrong, guys? Is that? You know what? I'm gonna treat myself. I should treat myself. I'm gonna cover myself in it. And so he did. And thus a beautiful partnership was born. Brachydios shell then, already one of the hardest to pierce hides in the game, akin to, well, rock, has a property that prevents the slime mold from its usual volatile status, remaining dormant upon him. But not only that, his saliva encourages its growth, making it explosively expand, causing him to be dripping with the stuff. So just being near him, like with Gogmazioth, means that he is slowly just raining deadly substance. But now he's punching you with it, so it is the 1-2, and he is based off a boxer style, right? He is a nippy, scrappy, agile brute wyvern, fast and very much different from his peers in that regard. He is more precise in his power than just generally throwing his weight around like they like to do. But either way, he is punching you already with, let's just say, an appreciable tap. And then, if that didn't kill you, which it probably did, you are now coated in slimy death. It probably feels quite nice, it's probably quite cool, you know, like swimming through jelly. But jelly doesn't kill you. Guys, jelly doesn't kill you. So in mere moments, if you don't remove every scrap of it, which, you know, hunters kinda know to do, but other monsters certainly don't, you're now going to explode as point blank gets across your entire body. And that does a number to flesh and bone beings. So that is one hell of an offense. But as I said, defensively too, if you attack Brachydios, you're already going to struggle to damage his shell, but touching him means you put the slime on yourself, and then you face the same fate as if he had attacked you, well, personally. And this combination makes him indomitable. He just dominates wherever he goes. So not only is he a fantastic fun fight, it is high tempo, you gotta be on your toes, he leaves environmental hazards behind, explosions everywhere, it's thrilling, it's fairly challenging, and you just really love going toe to toe with this guy. Has a beautiful place in the Monster Hunter world. And beyond that then, I love his armor. I think it looks really quite badass. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the color scheme. That's one thing I will say against him, but it's such a minor point, right? And then not to mention Raging Brachydios. A Brachydios who has found ancient slime mold and has himself quite the enhanced repertoire because of it. So already when a Brachydios is enraged, his body temperature rises, which primes the slime, causing it not to just drip off, but straight up explode on impact. He does have explosive punches, right? That description alone, #1, man. But now, well, the slime gives him immortality. They feed off the life force of this ever-growing substance. A Raging Brachydios has an immortal reactor inside of him, one of the most priceless monster parts in existence. They only are ever slain in battle. That is the ultimate fate for a Brachydios that manages to live long enough. And even then, right, the slime on a Raging Brachydios is a reactive defense mechanism. It will trigger and explode when it senses a nearby threat. So, honestly, it just sucks to be anywhere near him. So yeah, I will never not enjoy fighting him. He still offers decent challenge, but more importantly, a really fun experience. The first time was fucking amazing. He is the father of Blast. He introduced it as Slime Blight, giving us hilariously overpowered weapons. I loved using his greatsword. Yes, a status greatsword. That's how much I liked him. I used a status greatsword. Admittedly, it wasn't actually that bad, to be fair, but still, he has a storied place in Monster Hunter history, having such an impact on the game. Many people's favourite monster too, and I love him to absolute little tiddly bits. So there you go, guys. That's my 5. Did you predict any? Do you agree? I'd love to know yours, and as always, I'd love some awesome discussion down below. But until next time, like you've enjoyed this, subscribe for more, and I will see you very soon. A good one.
Rage Gaming with the video float.
But that's all that's really relevant at the mo, but I'm still gonna leave this up so you patrons know that I love you even though the outro's no longer that kind of relevant. But the new one's being worked on and it's gonna be a truly badass song, and don't worry, I won't be doing any rapping on it. I'm gonna go now. This was shit.